Hi, I'm Dr. Chris Stevens, and this is the Psychology to Live By podcast. We yearn for our holidays and we can't wait for them to start. We look forward to having a break, having fun, but most of all to feel rested, relaxed and rejuvenated. But all too often we end up feeling exhausted, stressed and disappointed. This and the next podcast will explore why this is so and what can be done to actually have a holiday when we're on holiday. Holiday seasons like Christmas can actually be really challenging times. There might be family dynamics and relationships that lead to conflict or tension. Changing family traditions with marriages, divorces, etc. can create conflicting priorities. Sometimes we have too much togetherness with family. Sometimes not enough. If there has been bereavement or loss during the year, this can be a particularly hard time. Gift buying and giving can be fraught with pressure to pick the right gifts and can create significant financial burden. Parents with kids may still be working and are having to juggle childcare, functions, entertainment, and, of course, their work. Often people are also already very stressed by the end of year with cumulative fatigue and frantic end-of-year deadlines. And then the holiday season adds to our stress if we're travelling, going to too many functions, hosting too many people, just being too busy. And of course, we want to indulge ourselves and let go. So we may overeat on rich foods and consume too much alcohol, all of which even further stresses our poor, overloaded nervous systems. I could go on, but it's just too exhausting. Fortunately, there are practical steps you can take to get more of what you want and need from your holidays. For example, I think one should start by dedicating a small amount of time to writing down your overall purpose for the holiday. Note it is your purpose. Start there and then fit others' needs and wants into that. This is crucial. How do you want to feel during and after the holidays? For most of us, it would be to be relaxed and reinvigorated. Anyway, work backwards from whatever that purpose is. One of the reasons we may not feel we've had a break on our holidays or we experience so much stress is because we feel too much of what's occurring is outside our control. It's not driven by our agenda. We have what we call an external locus of control, and what we really want is an internal locus of control. Rather than being a victim of circumstances, we want to be the architect of our time away from work. But a warning, we often find it hard, or perhaps ethically questionable. But a warning, we often find it hard or perhaps ethically questionable to prioritise our own well-being. But you are, believe it or not, perfectly allowed to do just that, and others can and will adjust to it. It might even be better for them. They too might be struggling, so reducing the number, length and complexity of your holiday engagements might help everyone concerned. Also, the happier you are, the more likely you'll be nice to be around. So what type of purpose might you have? Well, whatever seems most needed for you. Possible candidates might be to be rested or inspired, to have lots of time for reading, to do lots of exercise, to meditate, to have time alone, to play with the kids, or to climb a mountain. You get the idea. It's what you want and what you need. Now, the first thing for most people to do in identifying your main purpose for the holidays is to scale it back. Make it realistic, not idealistic. For most people, that might involve halving their expectations of their holiday. No, really. Whatever you plan to do, that plan should revolve around reducing what you do on holidays. Pick a few favourite activities and really enjoy them while skipping the rest. As my good wife constantly reminds me, less is more. By the way, if you're working throughout the majority of your kids' holidays, all this still applies to you, perhaps more so, because you've extra pressure on your time and energy managing work, the complexities of childcare, social arrangements, basically juggling lots of balls at once. Either way, it might be timely for you to pause the podcast now and quickly reflect on your holiday purpose. What comes to mind immediately? Write it down. Now, when you've decided on your main purpose, make a list of all the events and engagements and activities, etc., that are likely to occur over the holiday break. Do this in a pretty fast, all-inclusive way, because what you'll do next is categorize all of those into either must-haves or nice-to-haves. You keep the must-haves and drastically reduce the nice-to-haves. Do this brutally. You want to make space for things that directly meet your purpose. This might mean having an afternoon nap or sitting in a park or jumping on a trampoline with the kids. This is also the time to identify the likely obstacles to your purpose. Now, we'll deal with them more in the next podcast, but for now, just make a quick list of what comes up. What's going to stop you exercising, meditating, climbing that mountain, saying no to the in-laws? But for now, we'll focus on mapping out what you want to do, especially the things that you enjoy doing. And my advice is to use a calendar. Put in all the must-do dates and engagements. Make sure there are plenty of spaces. Do not fill it up, because things will materialise that you didn't plan for. And when they do, run them through the same sieve. Does it help or hinder my purpose? Do I include or reject? Decide how long you'll spend on each and put that in the calendar too. Do you have to stay all day at the relatives? Really? Can you reduce that in time? Does the engagement have to be a sit-down meal, or could it be a cup of coffee with a snack? If travelling, build in rest times or break it into portions. See if you can design the travelling to actually contribute directly to your purpose. How many activities per day or per week will you include that directly meet your purpose? Is it exercising every day or every second? At what time? How will you program it in? Mapping this out is the highest priority in the plan. Another crucial piece of advice, make it realistic and easy to do. Don't try to do too much. Now, for the activities or engagements you have to attend but you don't like or want, how can you accept them with grace? I'd suggest that knowing in advance that your overall holiday plan is serving your needs well is a great place to start. Your cost-benefit analysis may well mean you have to spend time with that obnoxious uncle, that annoying child, listening to that boring conversation, and so on. You will have to do things that on balance are a part of your broader life priorities, but don't directly serve your specific purpose for these holidays. That's now okay, because your planned timetable is balanced. You have built in time and activities for you to relax, enjoy, and rejuvenate. We'll come back to this in the next podcast, where we'll examine strategies to implement your plan. But every day of the holidays, remind yourself of your purpose. Mentally congratulate yourself for when you kept to that purpose. Consciously note what distracted you, diverted you, and figure out what you've learned from it so that you can enjoy tomorrow even more. In summary, this is all about deliberately, consciously, purposefully taking charge of your enjoyment of your break. I know you'll need to compromise. You'll want your partner, your kids, other people to enjoy their break too. But I promise you, if you consciously prioritise your own well-being on the break, you'll be doing yourself and those around you a really big favour. and you'll actually have a holiday when you're on holiday. You've been listening to the Psychology to Live By podcast. If you'd like to know more, my website is www.drchris.life. And if you like the podcast, share it with people you like so they can like it too.